Okay, welcome everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll go ahead and get started with roll call. Oh, somebody's transcribing me. All right. So we'll go ahead and start with attendance. So I'll start with myself, President John Harris here. Irene, are you in the room with us yet? All right, no good. So I'll just go ahead and run that for her. President-elect Elise Toplis.
Present.
All right. Secretary Irene Lasoya. All right. Treasurer Joanna Finney.
Present.
All right. 4D Administrator Chris Sorensen.
Here.
All right. 4D Attorney Kelly Keene. No good on Kelly as well. All right. Historian Heather Rigo.
Here.
Okay. Oh, and I just lost my list here.
That's cool. Nice to see you guys.
2 seconds, everybody.
While we're doing that, is there a way I can add more people? I only have 4 little squares to see everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know Teams as much as well as Google. Is there a way to add more folks?
Yeah,
so
Mary,
I
if you
clicked on 3 dots and then clicked on the together mode, and my screen is like, it looks like we're all sitting in like this, I don't know, behind brick tables in a forest, but it shows all the pictures of everybody. It's kind of cool looking.
Oh yeah. We're Red Rock. Hi. I feel like South Park or something.
All right. Okay. Northeast Vice President Kathy Dale. Okay, no Kathy. Southwest Vice President Gina Tyler. Southeast Vice President Jerry Fritz.
I'm here.
There you go. Okay. Central Vice President Renee Velasquez.
Here.
Okay. Member at Large Casey Jones.
I'm here.
Member at Large Lisa Goodmanson.
I'm here.
Member at Large Susan Hill. Member at Large Mary Claire.
Back here in the second row.
Excellent.
Oh, John, Susan told me yesterday in our meeting that she wouldn't be able to attend today. She has other conflicting meetings.
Okie dokie. Super duper. Member at Large Wendy Betts.
Here.
Member at Large Sandra Lawrence.
Here.
Member at Large Todd Leon Miller.
Hello.
Member at Large Gina Hughes.
Here.
And Member at Large Jenny Rutherford.
Here.
Excellent. And then also let the record show that we have former President Elisa Schaefer, as well as, I think, is that the only past president we have on board with us today? Oh, and then Joanna, who is also the treasurer. So, and then member at large Richard Moore. I missed you completely there, man.
I was wondering if I got booted off the council when I wasn't looking, but
I was gonna say, yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that we have ascertained a quorum and can move on with the remainder of the meeting. So let's go ahead and jump right into our reports here. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I got the wrong thing up. There we go. So let's go ahead and jump into our secretary report. Has Irene joined us yet? And she did notify me she does not have a secretary report, as she didn't have notes as she was elected secretary at the last meeting. So I will go ahead and let's go ahead and I'll open the floor for a motion to table the secretary report until our next meeting.
So moved by Joanna.
I'll second Elisa.
All right, I have a motion on the floor from Joanna to table the secretary reports, seconded by Elisa. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition, same sign. Okay, the secretary report is tabled until our next meeting when Irene has an opportunity to do it. Next on the list, treasurer report with Joanna.
Hey guys, so I did forward out the balance sheet for the treasurer's report. It shows that we have in our checking account $39,937.37. In our savings account, we're sitting at $75,997.04, which gave us a combined total of $115,934.41. We still have outstanding accounts receivables of $425, which are for registrations from last year that have not been paid. And then leaving us with a total of, if we were to consider that income, $116,359.41.
Excellent. Does anybody have any question or any discussion around Joanna's treasurer report?
I just have a question, like why those unpaid fees, is that from counties?
They are, part of them are, and I think that it's, we're going back and forth, well, not going back and forth, but it's more of a, they didn't send the people that they said they were going to send the people. And so it is me reiterating to them that we did not say that if they didn't attend that they wouldn't have to pay. So it's one of those situations. And so it's on my agenda for Monday to follow up and send that back out again.
Yeah, I just had never heard that before. What is our recourse? Do we have, I mean, has that ever happened before or? I don't know. Just
I don't know.
curious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with all the experience in the room, it doesn't seem like it's come up very often. It certainly hasn't happened in the last 6 years while I've been on the board.
Yeah.
Well, and it's different too, right? Because in the past, it's like they wouldn't show up to an on-site and not pay because they'd have, whereas virtual, it's like we were doing all of that beforehand and they had up until that and we allowed them to come in. So now it's just something new that we're playing with that whole virtual wrap up, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, good luck.
my opinion would be they're not, if they have an outstanding balance, unless I pay them both. That would be my recommendation, because at the end of the day, they agreed to it last year, so they should pay.
And Joanna, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we did send out to all 40 administrators and counties that we would not be issuing refunds. So whether if they signed up someone, we said, hey, you're essentially responsible for that registration fee. So
Yep.
maybe it's something for us to keep on the radar for this conference, either way that we move. And if they have any past balances, then we address that before we allow them to register for this conference.
Yeah,
That did go out to the 40 administrators in an email.
yeah, pretty
Yep.
sure.
So I think it's pretty obvious that whatever county is not paid is financially liable for that. So I wish you luck, Joanna, in trying to collect. And I think that our only recourse is just not allowing that county to register this year until they're paid in full. So
I don't have any doubt that it'll get done. And I'm trying to remember as well. I think one of them is just a snafu. I'm at home, and so I don't have my QuickBooks in front of me. I'm going off of memory. But I think one of them is a small amount that's owed by, which would be Marine Life Leaf. I can never remember how you say her name. For a late attendee or one that she registered late. And so I have not reached out to her yet, but it's
Okay.
just getting back and forth with the counties. But I'll get it reconciled probably within the next month or so. Even if it means contacting their county's director, I'm not opposed to do that, you know. So
I think we yeah, I was gonna say I think we definitely have the right person on the job. All right.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
the balance sheet part of it. I don't know if you want me to move into the budget, or I don't have the agenda up. So if that's an agenda item, that's all I have to report at this.
You know, and I was gonna say, do we want to go ahead and include the accepting of the preliminary budget as part of the treasurer's report? I did not allocate additional time in the agenda for it.
Jonathan, this
Either
is
way.
Irene. I'm finally here.
Hi, Irene.
Hi.
The good news is you didn't miss much, and we do have a recording. So if you want to go, I'll send you the recording when we're done, so you can kind of go through and verify the attendance. But that's really all you
Oh.
missed so far.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Okay.
Definitely go
So-
over the budget if you want.
Yeah, I think that and this is let's have the committee heads weigh in. So committee heads, do you guys want to go through your committee reports before we approve before we move to approving the budget, or is everybody okay with Joanna going through it right now?
Either way.
I'm fine with either one.
Okay. I think in the interest of time, Joanna, if you want to go through it with us real quick, I know that everybody did receive a copy of the preliminary budget. Did everybody have an opportunity to review it, have any questions or concerns, or would like Joanna to go over anything? And once again, this is a preliminary budget that we have to submit as per the bylaws. It does not mean that we cannot make amendments to it later before the conference.
Correct. So from the initial one that we went over last month, there were only 2 changes. One was a slight increase in vendor. They went from 225 up to 500 on the chance that we are doing live. If it's virtual, then there's probably no expense for that. And then awards asked to increase theirs by 200, so they went from 1,500 to 1,700. And Lupe said it's because it's, you know, with everything going up, it's just a little bit more difficult to kind of keep that amount for those awards. You just asked for a slight increase to 200. I did reflect that with the 275 registrants and the 300 if we left attendee registration fees at $250. And then I did add in a sponsorship line item because it's been pending to run $5,000. So we're sure to include all of our income sources in the budget. And I also added, or was questioning, I can't remember. I think I was questioning the meal portion of it because we've calculated meal cost on just the attendees and not those extra people like the vendors and those things that go out. So this budget is solely based on the vendor income coming in, but not necessarily those foods figured into the banquet services. So this would be, like I said, if we were holding a live event. I did have an email where we were kind of asking for what those figures were from last year when we did a more virtual setting. And it looks like the total that we paid out, and Elisa, you can correct me on this, but I was thinking, again, I'm at home, that what we paid for the event Moby stuff was around 4,500 ish.
So we paid it off. So we had signed a 2 years contract. So for both years, it was 8,500. And then what we paid off for last year to use it was the remaining $4,000 balance. Yeah.
So that is still in effect for if we do it this year, right?
No, so that last year, the virtual conference was the second year. So our contract is over with them. We would
Okay.
have to renew or decide what we wanted to do around that.
Okay. So knowing those figures, then it looks like total or net income that we ended up with, if you look at your balance sheet, was 13,356, and that included sponsorship and the registration fees that we charge for virtual conference. So that would be kind of that figure if you didn't change any prices, would be around $13,400 if we got the same amount of sponsorships in and charged the same amount for registration if we did go virtual. And then, you know, having to restructure event Moby, that platform, you're probably looking at either $4,000 or $8,000. So I don't have that in writing, but that's pulling it out of whatever orifice it pulled out of.
All right. I think that, yeah, we definitely got a lot to go over. And I think that there's the discussion about whether or not we're having the live conference versus another digital conference, I think is going to dictate a lot of what we do with Event Mobi. So I think that I think that as of right now, we should probably leave the budget as is, and then we can make that adjustment when that's done, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done around that decision with the information I'm going to bring up here at a little bit later in this meeting.
I would tend to agree. I think that we should adopt a budget based on a live registration, and then we know it's not going to be anywhere near $70,000 for 270 attendees or $74,000 for 300 if it's virtual. So you're looking at probably, $13,000 to $15,000 income and $8,000 to $9,000 in expense. So I mean, either way, if we adopt a live budget, we should be able to assimilate into a virtual reality.
Assimilate into virtual reality. I like that. All right.
I would say we at least go on the $300 one. That would be my recommendation, but either way, whatever. There you have it. Or I can figure it on more if you need to, but I think we have to adopt this by the end of October. So
Yeah, I gotcha. All right. So at this point, I think that I think that we're ready to look at accepting a motion to accept the budget, the preliminary budget, in order to appease the rules of the bylaws. So, if anybody prepared to make that motion.
This is Chris. I'll make a motion to accept the proposed budget as stated.
Okay.
And I'll second. This is Mary Claire.
Perfect. I have a motion on the floor from Chris Sorensen to accept the preliminary budget, seconded by Mary Claire. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, we have accepted a preliminary budget, and so we are now within the correct guidelines of the bylaws. That being said, as there is no more discussion, I would also entertain a motion to accept the treasury report for the month of October.
This is Chris. I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer report for the month of October.
This is Casey. I'll second.
All right, I have a motion on the floor from Chris Sorensen to accept the treasury report for the month of October, seconded by Casey Jones. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposition, same sign. The motion carries. The treasurer's report is now accepted. Thank you so much, Joanna, for all the hard work you did on that. Let's go ahead and move on to our 4D administrator report featuring Chris Sorensen.
Yeah, featuring me is right because, is Sabrina on this call?
I don't believe Sabrina has joined us today now.
Okay, so when we were on the 4D administrator call, whatever, a week or two ago, she totally stole my thunder, but probably because I didn't say anything. So I just was going to thank her for doing that. But anyway, I need help putting the survey together because I have tried to figure out doing it from here, and my IT people said I can't do any kind of survey. So I want to get a survey out to the 4D admin group to talk about, asking what their thoughts are about attending, the in-person conference, but I don't know how to do the survey at this point. Anybody could help me?
So,
Chris, I could help you. If you send me the questions, I can do that.
Oh, because you helped me last year, Heather.
That's right. I was going to say, we do have a CFSC SurveyMonkey account that we pay for. So there is a lot of survey resources. And then, Heather, is that what platform, is that the platform that you use for surveys, or what do you normally do?
Yeah, we have SurveyMonkey, but if you have the login information, it's probably best to keep it
all in the house. Yeah.
Our account. Yeah.
Well, Heather, if you are good at doing that, and I know you did one for me last year, and I so appreciated that too. Could you help me with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I will send you the text that I want to ask, and okay, I will get that out to you. Thank you. In terms of my other thing was to You know what, Jonathan, I was waiting for an email from you if you wanted my help contacting the hotel, but you must have got all that done.
Yes, I did. I did speak with the hotel, and yeah, we got that all kind of figured out. And like I
Okay.
said, I got a whole area of this meeting carved out for that discussion because
All
yeah,
right.
there's stuff afoot for sure.
Okay. So otherwise, I don't have anything else for you right now.
Perfect. So, all right. So Heather, I will get you that login. If I don't have it, I'm sure Anna Perez still has it in her log. But yeah, SurveyMonkey's pretty generous about getting locked out of accounts. So we can get you into there for sure. So I'll set a reminder to help you with that next week. Okay.
I actually, Jonathan, this is Jerry. I actually might have the SurveyMonkey information, but it would be at the office. So I'll check on Monday when I'm in there and see what I have and then get back with you.
Perfect. Yeah, it's around. It's definitely accessible. So I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
All right.
Do. I was just going to chime in with Jerry when she gave me the treasurer stuff over. I'm pretty sure it was included in that. So we will definitely look Monday.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So there is our 40 administrator report. We're going to go into old business, and this is kind of an old new business type thing, but we do have a new member today, Jenny Rutherford. Sorry, I just heard Jerry, and so my brain stopped working for a second. I was going to say, it's not like we worked together for 4 years. Jenny Rutherford from Arapahoe County is our new member, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself to the board. So do that, please.
Okay. Hi guys. Hopefully, a lot of you have worked with me before, so I've been in Arapahoe County Child Support Services. This is year 24 for me. So I supervise the interstate and accounting team here. And Tracy Rummins reached out to me and said you could use another member at large, and some of my other things are kind of winding down that I'm on boards for. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to work with you guys again. I know Chris well, I know Sabrina well, I know a lot of you guys. So I was excited to get the opportunity to work with you all. Thank you.
Excellent. We're so happy to have you, Jenny. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into new business. So we'll go ahead and shoot through our committee reports. So I wanted to, let's go and take a look. It looks like agenda oversight with Elise. Elise, do you have anything for us today?
No, I don't have any updates. I think really, I know some groups may have met, but many haven't yet. I think we really need to kind of figure out what we want to do. Do we want to continue to plan for both in person and virtual, or do we want to plan for one or the other? I think maybe we might do kind of both, but I think we're still just getting up and running.
Yep. And I can say, yeah, it's really hard to do the agenda stuff without having a definitive answer one way or the other. And I think that, like I said, I keep alluding to this discussion that's going to happen here at the end of agenda reports, but it'll be a lot clearer when we get there. All right, 4D track. Is Gina Hughes here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
We haven't met yet, but we've started brainstorming different session ideas.
Excellent. Okay, professional growth, Lupe.
We haven't met. I need to get, and probably been sent out, but I need to get the list of committees so I know who's on my committee.
Okay, I can definitely get that to you. Send me a reminder if I don't get it to you by like Tuesday or Wednesday next week. Okay.
And just a reminder that everybody has access
this
to
month.
Oh, sorry, I had multiple people talking. Everyone has access to what?
Everyone has access to the Google Sheet that has every tab with the members and committees and committee members.
I think I tried to access that.
I could add that to the report this month too, if you want.
That would be super helpful, Irene. Yeah, I was gonna say if somebody could just resend that out, because there still seems to be some confusion as to who's doing what. So yeah, I appreciate that, Irene. If you could tag that onto the minutes.
Oh, it looks like Joanna just put it in the chat too.
Thank you, Joanna.
Super.
Getting an access blocked message when I try to go to it. Let me try the one from the chat.
It says anyone with internet with this link can edit it. So you should be able to.
Okay, I got it.
Getting an access blocked thing. I don't know if it's something on my end, but
Okay. All right.
oh yeah, it looks like it might be a Maximus thing. Sorry. So
Oh, okay. Maximus
that's weird
thinks
because it let me use it
Yeah.
before. I don't get it, but oh well.
Okay.
That's how I feel about Microsoft Teams. I all of a sudden don't have access. So
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, like I said, technology issues, guys. Is Kelly Keene on the call yet, or Tracy? I know Tracy had court. I don't know if she's joined us yet.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
Jonathan. I thought Kelly had sent you.
Oh, that's right. She is. That's out. And then Richard, you're going to be covering for her. She did send me that. I apologize. I totally had a couple other things on my mind. So, Richard, what's going on with Attorney Track?
Well, we had a meeting a week or so back, and I think we're in pretty good shape as far as coming up with, covering our sessions. We do have a couple blocks open, and so I think Tracy was reaching out to the 4D listserv, to 4D attorney listserv, to see if anybody had some hot topics or anything, or a burning desire, excuse me, to present. But I think we're going to be in pretty good shape there.
Okay. Excellent. Good to hear. Bylaws. Are you covering for bylaws as well, Richard?
Actually, I discovered I'm not actually on the committee, so
on
yeah.
the bylaws committee? Oh no.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and just. Sorry.
do you want to be on that committee? I could put you on there right now.
You can sign up, Richard.
Yeah, Richard. There's no rules against it.
Hey, I'm good, thanks.
I always thought that you guys were kind of intertwined, bylaws and attorney track, and we kind of just put you both on both.
That
was just what I was thinking.
That's kind of what I thought too, but apparently that's not always the case.
Well, just remember too, we do have to have you guys sign up. So if you didn't jump on it and put your name, we're welcoming to volunteer you to do that now, and we can just add you.
And I will give that due consideration, Elisa. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. So moving on from bylaws, Kelly did not notify me of any updates to the bylaws. So let's go ahead and just jump into vendor with Casey.
Thanks, John. Let me pull up my updates here. So vendor did meet, albeit just yesterday. So we just barely got to squeeze in a meeting for this meeting today. And we did some chatting. I think Joanna kind of covered it, and we just, like we've talked about as a board, we are sort of looking at what the budget and what the vision and what it'll look like, whether it's virtual or in person. So I just wanted to give a tiny bit more information about why we proposed increasing the budget from 225 to 500 if we are in person. And that's just because I know that 225 really, I think last time we were in person in 2019, kind of just barely covered printing costs for like signage, thanking sponsors and different stuff like that. So we just really want to increase it to cover decorations for the exhibitor hall or whatever else we may need to do for vendor, assuming that we are in person. So just wanted to give that little bit of information. The other thing is that we're going to meet again shortly within the next couple of weeks to re-examine our sponsorship levels again. And again, that would be kind of just preparing for the event that we are in person, because virtual, we kind of do things differently, but looking at those bronze, silver, gold, and platinum levels, and what perks and things would come with each, the dollar amounts for each, that kind of thing. And then the last thing is I wanted to ask if potentially if anyone has an interest in this. As a committee, we discussed it and thought that when we are in person, in terms of needing someone to be sort of a runner, like someone to complete physical tasks to help vendor, whether it's setting up signs or helping set up the exhibitor hall, we were wondering if there would be anyone interested in being a third committee member for vendor, in addition to Susan and me, who would just sort of be planned to be like an on-site runner of sorts if we're in person, just to help us do physical tasks. Oh, great. I see in the chat, Sandra said I would like to do that. Thank you.
Excellent.
If you need
That-
another, I'm always up for setup and tear down and organization stuff.
Great. Thanks, Jenny. I'll put you both down as someone who would be willing to do that. And again, always assuming that we'll be in person. Thank you both. I appreciate that. And that's all I had for vendor, John. Oh, and as well, of course, keep sending me and Susan any contacts you know for anyone who may want to be involved with our conference in a sponsor or exhibitor capacity.
Excellent. Okay. Registration, Jerry.
I don't have anything at this time. We'll probably be getting together. I'll probably be sending out a link to do a meeting probably in the next month or so.
Okay, perfect. Finance, Joanna, do you have anything outside of the treasurer stuff?
I do not. Thank you.
Excellent. Awards, Lupe again.
Me again.
Yep.
The only thing I have right now is I just want to make sure that we get awards set up for survey on SurveyMonkey for nominations and voting. I just want to make sure, I don't know who I should be talking to about that, making sure that's all set up for this conference coming up, I should say.
Sure. Yeah, the Survey Monkey, I mean, then the links, it's all probably going to go through Heather, because yeah, she'll be the one uploading it onto the website. So, yeah, we'll get that all figured out. So Heather, once we get all set up, would you reach out to Lupe and just so you guys are kind of in contact for the award stuff?
That'd be great. Thank you, Heather.
No problem.
Okay. AV, we do not have a committee chair for AV yet. So if anybody's interested, please let me know. I did kind of look at the preliminary budget with the hotel, as far as, but that budget may change completely if we end up doing digital, as we'll need the platform, and so whether we go with EventMobi or a different company, I think that we could definitely start weighing our options, but it would be a drastic difference in cost. So it's like the difference between like $12,000 with EventMobi versus like $4,000 to $5,000 with the hotel for AV costs. So it's like there's a whole realm of stuff that we kind of need to figure out whether we're doing physical or digital really before we can kind of set an accurate AV budget. But that's all I had. Let's see, historian Heather.
Yeah, thanks. So our group is very small. It's just Jonathan, who's obligatory member, and then Elisa. So we have met. Really, Jonathan just wanted to run me through website stuff and like that. So if anybody wants to join, please feel free. I really just would love to have some other great creative input and just some ideas generated and brainstorming through the group. So more just the fun stuff if you guys want to join and be part of that. We decided that the best way to house the conference sessions from last year would be to put them on our YouTube channel. So I know Irene has uploaded some of her content that she was responsible for managing, and then we're going to make sure that the rest of it is loaded on there too. So once that's all complete and finished, you guys will be notified so you can see that it's all in one spot.
So, and I can tell you also, I uploaded all of the main stage footage onto the YouTube channel, and then Irene had a bunch of other, and then I had also received some footage from Tracy from the legal side of it as well. So I think we're pretty close to everything that we're able to get from the conference last year. I think that there's a couple of sessions that were conducted by staff who are no longer in their positions and we're finding it kind of difficult to find those recordings. So I think it's also a great learning opportunity for us this year if we do end up doing digital, is that I know that Elisa had sent out instructions to all the speakers to send us all of their footage at the conclusion of their presentation, and I don't think there was a lot of follow through on our end on making sure that they did that. I think that it was kind of on an honor system type basis, and so I think that we missed out on a couple of sessions because of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Entertainment, Mary Claire.
Before I do that, Jonathan, it looks like in chat that Sandra might have said that she'd like to do AV. I don't know if Sandra, you meant that you wanted to do AV, but she put that chat in right when we were talking about
Oh,
financial.
okay, no worries. Yeah, Sandra, that's no problem at all. I'll add you to the AV committee. Okay. Go ahead, Mary.
Todd would too. Todd liked to be added to AV as well.
Oh, look at
I was
that.
sitting here reading the chat for you.
I was like, I know. Look at, I'm like looking at my agenda, so I should probably pay more attention to the chat. Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize I was chair again of entertainment, so I apologize. I didn't do anything. So I will get our group together before the next meeting. Thank you.
Perfect. No worries at all. I got donations and PR booth. Did Gina end up joining us? No. Okay. So we'll go ahead and move on. If Gina jumps in at any point, we can go back to that. And then site, Elise, do you have anything for us for the site committee?
No. I mean, I guess I could say Elisa did send over information for the vendor, right? The Event Mobi. Was it Event Mobi that you sent over? So we could talk to them. We have the contract that we have with the hotel. So really nothing new at this point, just still waiting to see what we're going to do.
Okay.
I do know though, somebody was assigned, I can't remember, to contact the hotel. And I don't know what happened. Are we
I contacted the hotel, yes.
Okay.
So, okay. All right, so we'll move over to other new business. We do have a nomination that I received via email for another member at large. And it is another representative from the state office, and it's Daphne Risch. I believe I'm saying that right. So do we have any discussion around that, or are we ready to move forward on voting? I'm just getting...
I'm okay with just voting.
I gotcha.
I agree.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, all right. So we have a motion via email that I received Wednesday, September 22nd, in nominating Daphne Risch from the state office as member at large for the CFSC. Do I hear a second to that motion?
This is Irene. I'll second.
And I have a second from Irene. All in favor of electing Daphne Risch to member at large of the Colorado Family Support Council? Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition, same sign. Okay, the motion carries. Daphne Risch has been elected member at large of the CFSC. Congratulations to her. I will reach out to her and get her all of what she needs for our next meeting. Okay, so moving on to the item, the main item of this meeting that we've been wanting to talk about. I talked to the hotel to Lisa, and they said basically that we do not have the option of delaying or moving our meeting at all. At this point, there is no force majeure. They've been holding in-person conferences for other organizations up to 300 members for the last 3 or 4 months. So if we were to cancel and go digital, we would be financially responsible for 80% of the incurred charges of an in-person conference. I talked about it and I wrote in here, I wanted to assemble an asset management task group. What I mean by that is I want to get people together to where we can decide financially if there is a way to, if it will be more expensive to try to hold an in-person conference and have people not show up versus paying the hotel to not have a conference there and then having a digital conference. So, so, and basically, I don't have the exact figures, but I know we're talking with Tracy. We did a bit of a number crunch on what it would look like, and the hotel is quoting us 86,553 for the hotel and room fees, plus 32,000 in banquet fees. So we'd be looking at a net loss of canceling this, of moving it to a digital. We'd be looking at around a net loss of $95,000 if we move this to digital. So that being said, looking at it and just kind of going through the preliminary math, Tracy says that with the room reduction rate of 10%, in order to break even on the room, we would need 177 attendees staying all 3 nights. And then for $250 each of the banquet fees, we'd need 128 registrants to be eating at the banquet. So I think like 180 to 200 would be our target in order to break even and not lose the council money if we were to have an in-person conference. But that being said, those numbers just preliminarily, I know that we have a lot more that we need to look at. Those are not exact figures, but just kind of the original. Looking at that, I think it is very much more likely that we can get 200 people to come to the conference rather than just taking a loss of 95 grand. That's my opinion. And so I think that we do not really have much of a choice. I think we have to move forward with an in-person conference.
No, I agree. I think, and sorry guys, I was late.
Okay.
I think Elise and I might want to have a conversation with Larry and our senior leadership, because travel may or may not be approved for state employees. And if we're thinking about 4D track and trainers, I think that's where we might see the biggest kind of pain. Unless we do some, have a county staff that we feel are pretty trained up, that we can utilize them for those trainings. But that's the only part that worries me.
My team's been approved to travel for a few other things that we've had to go to the counties for. We didn't actually go out because, believe it or not, the hotel was completely booked, and I waited last minute to do that, so we didn't go, but it was approved. And it was along the lines of training. I think the only thing that's on our side, honestly, is it's summer.
Yeah.
And we might be able to get it approved as like a required training situation. But I mean, it seems like it would probably be better to do in person or plan in person, and then hope that if we can't do in person, it's because their policy changes.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, I mean, we're talking about state restrictions. What about you counties? I mean, I think you counties were more restricted than we were. The state office was in the very beginning. Has any of your policies changed that you know of, or have they gotten restrict again? That's not even a word.
So,
Stricter again.
And I can tell you that like the counties all seem to have different policies around travel and COVID and everything really. So I can say some counties are fully open, fully functional, doing everything in person. I know a couple of counties are fully at home, office is closed, so it's like, I think that all of the policies seem to be loosening a bit, but it's also like we're trying to predict one of the most unpredictable events in human history. So it's like I don't know if there's a good answer to that, Mary. I think that, I mean, however, 64 counties in this state? Like, yeah, so there's 64 different administrators that are making 64 different decisions. So I think I might be wrong with that number, but like I think that it's things seem to be loosening, but yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. That's the hard decision, is I don't think that we're going to be able to get a solid commitment from any of these administrators right now.
John, have you guys considered, because I know for Joanna and myself, the last two, as we had that discussion with our attorneys, like, is it time that we maybe do a consult with a contracts attorney to see, in the event counties can't or will not send people due to county restrictions or state, whatever we're at, if there's anything legally we could do with an attorney if the hotel is not honoring force majeure because it's changed for them due to state law. I'm just wondering, I know that Joanna and I both had to have those discussions with our attorneys and then also seek out and say, hey, do we need to invest as a board into an attorney to see what our legal options would be if we needed to?
Well, I think it's a valid discussion only because these other places that may or may not be visiting the hotel may not have those same clientele that we deal with, where you are talking about state and county employees. And so maybe force majeure doesn't qualify for those other entities, but it most likely or could potentially qualify for us because we don't have the ability to travel. Well, we can. Otero's up and moving like normal, but we don't know about other counties. And so we may potentially fall under that exclusion that says force majeure does qualify for us. So I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, and I think that, and this is I completely agree with Elisa. I think that is an absolute discussion that we need to have because this is and I'll tell you guys, this is kind of my plan before we break off into the work group where I assign people to, or I ask for people to volunteer for this work group. My plan is to go to the admins with the list of safety precautions that the hotel has put into place that was sent that I forwarded to you guys. And, we can forward that to the 40 admins. They can take that to their county managers or whoever is making the decision as far as travel restrictions and give us the best chance of the most amount of people to come to this thing. And I think it is realistically, there are some counties that are not going to come. I think that's an absolutely realistic expectation.
So Jonathan, this is Chris. Would that be helpful to include that right along with the Survey Monkey for asking for their input into, if we give them that information that we already have from the resort about what the safety, protocol is?
Yes, 100% yes.
Okay.
So, and this is really good because and this is kind of what I was thinking of when we set up this work group to try to, to determine, and it's some of the people speaking up are the people that I kind of want to volunteer to join, is that I, for one, want Joanna and Chris because 40 admin and treasurer. So, you guys are probably the two most instrumental members of this group. I also want our attorneys, so Kelly and Tracy, and then Elisa, because you having to deal with this last year, have some good experience. So those are the kind of people that I would really, unless you have some huge opposition to joining this work group, I would say please join it. And then if anybody,
think we should include Richard.
Richard, yeah, do you want to join up with us, Richard? You're also an attorney. How are you with contracts?
I would have to crack open a book.
Okay. Well, like I said, I definitely, if you're willing, I mean, the more attorneys, the better. Because yeah, if this does get ugly with us in the hotel, which I'm hoping it won't, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to. I think it's probably easier to get the 40 administrators to open up to the idea of sending more people than it would be to potentially have to take legal action against a hotel for not allowing us out of a contract. But the realistic thing of this is that we're going to have to do one of those two things.
Well, and Jonathan, I just want to point out that this is Chris, that and this is an awkward conversation, but I just want to say that from a management standpoint, whether we can travel or not is one thing, but having a robust agenda is like super, super important too, because if, we're going to send people for the conference, that's the only training they get. So I think it has to be a pretty robust, agenda in terms of actual like training and things like that, and not just, and I love self-care stuff and things like that, but do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're saying more focus on the the function of the function of the work training, like the 4D
Yeah.
training. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good feedback. That's really good feedback from an administrator standpoint for sure. Irene, you have your hand
Actually,
up.
this is Irene. I've heard the same thing from Jeff and from Christina here before, that, less professional growth type stuff where it's like, about, like she said, self-care and all that, they would be a lot more willing to send more people if it was more based on, they expected, like, I think I don't know if it was this last year or the year before, it's like, we didn't have modification training. We didn't have, I mean, there was like some things that they felt was really important. And, I'm sure everybody else is like our office where they're going through turnover like crazy. So you need to have more of that basic,
And there's, and this is just me thinking out loud too. I think that we could also probably, not like get rid of the professional growth, because I definitely don't want to do that, but like maybe even like start tailoring our professional growth sessions a little bit to be a little bit more workplace focused. Instead of focusing on self-care, maybe do like, upward mobility within the department, workplace culture, those sort of trainings that are a little bit more applicable. EQ, things that would help help actual professional growth rather than do things like self-care. Yeah, I totally agree. I agree, and I think that that's a very valid piece of feedback from you
Hey,
guys.
Jonathan, and probably Joanna too. So Gina has a good point that, in addition to maybe some COVID concerns, there's probably a big concern about having to pay for it because they haven't had to pay for it for the last several years. Can we offer this welcome back in person conference at a reduced rate to incentivize people to come?
That's not like the worst idea.
Can we not
yeah.
make money and just break even?
That's the
Well,
goal.
I
Is
don't.
to break even. Yeah, I mean,
That's questionable, guys, because you're saying right now that you have 86,000 alone in hotel, 32,000 alone in banquet. That's over 100,000, and you guys just authorized a budget for only $70,000 or 75. Whatever. Where's my freaking numbers? For 300 attendees, you authorized a budget for $74,560, which isn't even covering what we just said the banquet's going to charge us. So if we're talking about reducing a fee, and that's based at 300 individuals, in my opinion, you're talking about increasing the fee because we don't even have enough on this budget to cover it.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's
And oh, sorry, John. I was just going to add to Joanna and say there's nothing that guarantees if we reduce it this one time that they'll guarantee that they'll send people or more people for that perk years after. So you're kind of setting a new bar that's like we reduced it. So then moving forward, they're like, well, we only paid X amount this year. So why now are we going back to the increased pricing, or then do we have to talk as a board and increase pricing there? I see what you mean, Elise. It's just with everything Joanna said in that we have to be careful because we are still responsible as a board for our budget and the gains and losses and all of that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just thinking like we could lose 80,000 or we can lose 10,000.
Sure, yeah, I totally see what you're saying. I do. But you'd have to keep in mind if we're only talking about income of $80,000, just income alone.
Right.
And our expenses are 100 and some thousand right there. Immediately is already a 20,000, over a 20,000.
right. And this, and I also want to this was a preliminary number that we kind of crunched really quick. So that's why I don't want to find that number is not finalized. So and this is why, yeah, the budget as of right now, it's a preliminary budget, and then we can make amendments to it later. But this is also kind of like some of the work that we have to do within this work group is to determine the actual cost of this conference and what we'll need to do to adjust the policy. So I like that these ideas are being brought up, but just know that we don't have to come up with a solution to all of this second, So I think
something else to think about, and it's probably not going to be the most favored comment, but does CFSC have to continue on in the way it has in the past? Like, do we have to continue on? I mean, yes, we have a few contracts, but with a 3-day conference, like, is that the best thing for CFSC moving forward? Is that what people need? And And so maybe to think about what are the other ways CFSC can provide services to its community that maybe don't look like it did in the past. And that's I'm saying like we don't need a full blown conference, virtual or in person.
Yeah, I agree. That kind of goes along with my motto in my year of keep moving forward. We keep moving, we keep developing, we keep changing with the times. And I think we have to be cautious about getting stuck where we're at. And I think that we should continue to potentially look at moving in the direction where we have in person / maybe hybrid, because you might be able to get more 40 attorneys or 40 administrators that attend, or those kinds of things, or more attendees in general, where you could split that out between those. More of a perk. If you're one of those stellar employees, you get to go in person, but if you still need the training, you're doing it virtually. I mean, there's all different kinds of ways of looking at that, but we just have to ensure as an organization that we don't get stuck and we do keep moving forward and changing like we need to.
I think that's an excellent point. I don't think that we need to get stuck in the same way, the ways, and I can tell you, just like in my professional life, like saying that that's the way we've always done it is my least favorite sentence. Like I am always for modifying and changing things when they need to be improved. So I think that we can definitely look at a hybrid model, or potentially, I'm not saying cancel the conference outright, but I'm saying that like we could definitely change how we do things. I think that I'm certainly open to that as a president, and I definitely think that we need to have those conversations. Okay, so that being said, I'm gonna get a work group together and we're gonna meet. So as of right now, who I would like to see on there is, okay, so of course the attorneys, Richard, Kelly, and Tracy. Definitely Joanna and Chris. Elisa, if you're willing. And Elise, how about, would you like to be involved as well, since you're the chair of our site committee?
Yeah, I think I should be.
Okay. I think so too, but you can tell me no. But all right. So I think that that's probably good. If anybody else feels passionate about it and would like to join that committee, please, either let me know now or let me know later. I definitely would be willing to, more the merrier, I suppose. But I wanted to, this was big news, guys, and it's really going to kind of change the direction that we're going in. And now I think this takes some of the, I guess, uncertainty out of it. It adds more uncertainty in other areas, but I think that we really, at this point, my goal and my decision is to move forward as a physical in-person conference this year if we can, unless it absolutely gets stopped.
Jonathan, did you say Sabrina too? So I just think it'd be good if Sabrina was also on, one as past president, but two, having experience with WCSAC and planning their in-person session. I know for NCO, we're planning in person for February, which is much sooner than June, and working through something Sabrina pointed out around vaccination requirements and testing, etc.
I like Sabrina a lot. So what do you think, Sabrina? Are you willing to do it? Okay, I got a thumbs up. All right. Enthusiastic or not, I appreciate it. All right.
If you want.
Irene, okay, I'll put
I'm
you on
willing
there.
to if you need.
I got you, Irene. Okay. So there's that. I know there's a lot of work to be done around that, so I will set a meeting for you guys here. I'll try to get it going within the next week, depending on everybody's schedule requirements. I'll contact you guys privately and see what we're able to do. So that was that part of the meeting. And I think that was the big chunk of what we needed to get accomplished today. It was kind of like letting you guys know where we're at with that. So, does anybody have any new business? If not, I think we can look at entertaining a motion to close here.
Hey, Jonathan, this is Chris. I'm sorry. I am going to go back to the members at large. How many more are you wanting now? Because
I think that fills us up. I think we're good to go with Daphne.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Did we vote on, like, my position that I had before the South Valley?
Oh, the Valley
those
Vice
have
President.
both been
We
filled?
do. Those positions are not filled still. I know that. Let me take a look and see at my roster here and what specific. So we do not have a Northwest Vice President or a Valley Vice President right now. So if anybody is interested or has any nominations, we could definitely hear those now. That would constitute new business. Nope. Okay. Well, think about it, members at large. We definitely there are openings. The role of if you're wanting to move up in the board, take on a couple more responsibilities, join more task groups, those sort of things. Those vice president positions, there are two available. But yeah, if they sit vacant, it's not really the end of the world. I mean, there are, we can definitely cover their duties throughout with the rest of the vice presidents and the other board members. Okay. Any other new business? Okay. Hearing no other new business, I would entertain a motion to close our meeting at this time.
This is Chris. I'll make a motion to adjourn and close the business meeting.
I have a motion on the floor from Chris Sorensen to adjourn our meeting. Do I hear a second?
I'll second. It's Mary Claire.
There you go.
I have said motion seconded by Mary Claire. All in favor of adjourning our meeting today?
Aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Hearing that, the meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your time and your effort, and all of your amazing insight today. I really appreciate you guys and your hard work. I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording.